What's up, Trainiacs? Welcome to this week's Triathlon Newsday Tuesday, where in this week's edition of Triathlon Newsday, the best, fastest, most competitive triathlon teams in the United States are announced. Races all around North America are getting canceled, some due to weather, some due to a little bit of dough, and triathlon's worst kept secret gets announced. What's up, triathletes? Welcome to this week's Triathlon Newsday Tuesday, where every single Tuesday, as long as I'm in town and there is triathlon news all around the world to talk about, we talk about what's going on in the sport that we love. As always, make sure you stick around to the end, where everyone's favorite part of Triathlon Newsday is shared. That's a story from the Trainiac community. And as always, full links to everything we talk about will be in the description below. You're gonna need those links this week. Let's start off with USA Triathlon, which over the weekend in New Jersey held the national championships for the club division in sprint and Olympic distance races. This was actually a really interesting format. What they did is they sorted all of the 750 clubs that they had to sort from largest to smallest, and they created 3 divisions for each, with Division 1 being the largest, Division 2 being the next largest clubs, and Division 3 being the next largest clubs. Then what they did in each of the sprint and Olympic distance races, they gave points for all of the top 3 age group finishers in each of the races, tallied it all up, and awarded the most competitive teams based off of that. Now, sparing you a 37-minute video having to announce 23 victorious triathlon teams, or obviously excluding a bunch of teams, I'm just going to tell you the link to all of the triathlon clubs and their winnings and their placings and kind of the format of how it all works is in the description below. Next, in a wave of race cancellations that happened last week, one of the first races that was announced to be canceled was the New York City Triathlon. Huge event, very premier event. They had to cancel it, unfortunately, due to the weather, the heat wave that's happening kind of all around North America. Due to 38 degrees Celsius, that is 100 Fahrenheit weather, even without the humidity, they decided that in the safety and security of those racing, that they would have to unfortunately cancel the event. Good news, it's always a question in these canceled events if people would be given their money back, and yes, all of the entrants are getting refunded their race entries, and they are able to go and pick up their finisher medals and their t-shirts for the entry to the event. So unfortunately they didn't get to race, but I think there is no other better way that they could have possibly handled it. Doing so probably incurs a loss for the organizing committee, so very good on them for doing that. Next, in a kind of much worse news sort of cancellation, Super League Penticton was canceled. This comes after last year when a good chunk of the race was canceled due to poor visibility because of smoke from wildfires. Now, this is happening about 5 weeks out from Super League Penticton's planned race date, and that's really unfortunate because there are a lot of people who have planned out vacations and they're training all around this race. It's also really unfortunate because I think the triathlon does need kind of a short course, really cool event, and I think Super League might be it, but from what I'm seeing, they're having a lot of challenges. The experience that I had in dealing with them earlier in this year, where I was going to race it and then I wasn't going to race it, they're kind of figuring things out right now, and as it was stated by the organizer of the event, it's just not financially viable at the moment to hold Super League Penticton. So, not great news. Great news, however, is that Ironman announced that Ironman Penticton, Ironman Canada, it's coming back home. We've talked about this a little bit over the past several weeks, that Penticton did put in a bid acknowledging that they would fund the $650,000 annual cost to bring Ironman back to the home of Ironman Canada, where it was originally held, and it was one of the first historic North American Ironman events held in the world. Like, this is a very iconic event that the community really embraced, and it was very sad when it left Penticton. It's back now. They announced it at a large community event where after the announcement, hundreds and hundreds of local athletes actually just plopped down money, signed up, and this is a great thing for the community. This is a great thing for Ironman to have these historic events in towns and communities that really do appreciate it. And hopefully it stays there and they can continue this great working relationship. Stay tuned, August 30th, 2020, the return of Ironman Canada to its home. In race results, it was a bit of a quiet week with just really 2 races of note. The World Triathlon Series was held in Edmonton. This is a sprint distance race in what should be kind of the preeminent short course events, but there were a lot of the top seeds that chose not to participate in it for one reason or another. In any case, Johnathon Brownlee well beat his bib number coming into the event, seeded 19th, and he ended up winning. And this is really notable considering that he beat Mario Mola, who is considered probably the fastest runner in the field, and he ended up winning by, well, as most short course events are, outrunning Mario Mola. And this is of note because Johnathon Brownlee over the last couple of years has really been battling injuries and consistency, which has affected his run speed. Looks like he's back. On the women's side of the World Triathlon Series in Edmonton, Emma Jackson from Australia ended up winning by just 2 seconds. I love how all of these WTS races are just so jam-packed, everyone just right side by side with each other. Long course racing, there was only one Ironman event held over the weekend, and that was full Ironman Switzerland. Interestingly, there was only the male pros, no female pros. On the males' side, it was won by fellow Dan Plews coached athlete Jan van Berkel. Now that gives us a nice little segue into a podcast update where this coming week we will be getting Dan Plews back on the podcast to talk about the coaching that he did, the little project that we did, getting me ready for the first full Ironman distance that I did at Challenge Roth. How he interpreted all the testing and the run efficiency and the bike efficiency and the caloric burn and my ability to burn fat, how he adjusted the training based off of that, the diet, all of that. We're going to kind of summarize all of that because I just sort of did the work and didn't talk to him a whole lot in the last 5 weeks throughout the process. But now we're going to find out why he did what he did, how he did what he did, and how you can apply that to yourself. Also, just a couple days ago, we released a podcast with Matt Botterill, high performance coach, former pro cyclist himself, and one of the people on the team of Team Lucy Charles Barkley. And Matt in particular played a big role in turning Lucy from a pure swimmer into a pure swimmer who is now particularly a very good cyclist. That's kind of his specialty. So we got into that, and for those who like aerodynamic geeking out, we geeked out a lot about aerodynamics on the bike. Now let's get into the Trainiac Story of the week. I like it this week. My name is Dan Braddock. I am 47 years old from Telford in Shropshire in the UK. I've been doing triathlon for about 2.5 years now. As a child, I was somebody who loved sport, but I wasn't particularly good at it. After I left school, I took a job in 2003 where I had to travel across Europe. And due to this significant level of traveling, I wasn't exercising or eating well, I was drinking and smoking. I woke up one morning in 2009 with a hangover and thought, I'm not going to drink today. And to this day, not a drop has passed my lips. Then, in 2011, I kicked my smoking habit and vowed to lose weight. I started to cycle the 3 miles to work each day, which then led to me cycling around the countryside and eventually joining a cycling club. However, in 2013, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. While it was initially feeling like a very major setback, it ended up being something that changed my life completely. A combination of improved eating habits, exercise, and medication allowed me to become fitter and stronger. And inside me, there was a fire that had been lit back when I was a child. That was triathlon. Came from an unlikely source though, the TV show Magnum PI. There was one episode where he entered into the Ironman Triathlon, and I thought that looked like fun. So starting in 2016, I did a few small duathlons, some pool-based sprint distance races, and an Olympic distance try. But when I finished, I felt no different. There was no real ethereal moment of joy. I mean, don't get me wrong, it felt great, but I just felt no different. Then, after watching your YouTube videos, I realized that doing too long, too early distance races might be the breaking of me. I'm glad I did that because this year I've continued to take part in Olympic distance events, which I've focused on, most notably the Leeds ITU event, and I have my best ever run going 53 minutes for the 10K. My attitude has changed, as has my body. I'm slimmer and healthier than any point I've ever been in my life. I still have diabetes, but it doesn't define who I am or what I can do. And now I feel like a triathlete. I couldn't have done this without the support of my wife Claire and our daughter Phoebe, so many people who have been so helpful on this journey of mine. Eventually, I hope to step up to half iron and the iron distance, but as it stands, I'm having a great time splashing, thrashing, and dashing my way to the finish line. I like that a lot, Dan. I haven't talked about this a lot lately, but I think that if people really do want to get kind of a long-term sense of being a triathlete and make sure that they are in the sport for a long time, stepping up in gradual chunks that is reasonable, physically, emotionally, time-wise, going from sprint to Olympic to half iron and iron, only when it's reasonable for you to do is one of the best ways to make sure that you stay healthy, that you stay mentally engaged, that you stay fulfilled, that you're able to conquer each distance and feel confident every time you step up. I think it's a great thing, and I like this story very much. So, thanks, Dan. Good on you. Congratulations. Welcome to being a triathlete. If you like Triathlon Newsday and you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button below. And if you want to share your story with the Trainiac community, by all means, please email us at Taren@triathlontaren.com and include some race photos. People love it. It inspires everyone. We dig it. Later, Trainiacs.